Hey guys, so today we're going to go over a little more of one-sided limits, but when they give you a piecewise function. So just know that um, this would be the graph to the left of 1, because all the numbers that are less than 1 would be to the left of 1. This is what happens exactly at where x equals to 1. So this is where it would have a point. And then y equals 2x would be the graph where x is greater than 1. So meaning, for instance, you would graph the line y equals 2x, which would just be a line, but then you would erase the part of the line where it's to the left of 1, meaning anything where x is less than 1, you would erase that part of the graph. So you would only keep this part of the graph for that line. Now, you don't need to graph the piecewise function in order to find the limit, which is kind of where I'm going with this today. So for instance, if I'm looking for the limit of this function as x approaches 1 from the left side of the graph, please note that where x is less than 1, that's to the left of the graph. That's the left side of the graph because all of the numbers less than 1 are to the left. So you could use direct substitution. Just keep in mind that you use the right graph though. So to the left of 1, which means x is less than 1, we're using this function, x minus 1 over x plus 2. And you can use direct substitution from here. You're going to directly substitute that x is 1 because that's the number that we are approaching. And if I replace all of the x values with 1, I have 0 over 3, which is just going to be 0. So what happens when we are looking for the limit as x approaches 1 from the right? So meaning to the right of 1. All of these values we would follow to the right of 1 and see what our limit is. If it's a piecewise function, you could just take the appropriate graph. So look at the conditions. Everything to the right of 1 would be greater than 1. All the x values to the right of 1 are greater than 1. So this is the function I would use. I would use 2x. And if I replace the x with 1 using direct substitution, because that is the limit that x is approaching 1, we're directly substituting that x value in, we'll get 2. So to the left, it approaches 0. To the right of 1, it approaches 2, which means for number 3, the limit as x approaches 1. It's not a one-sided limit, which means it should be approaching the same function, the same y value from the left and the right. Otherwise, the limit doesn't exist. And as you can see, the limit as x approaches 1 from the left is 0. The limit as x approaches 1 from the right is 2. So since these two are not the same number, the limit does not exist. And this is also part of your rules for testing the 3 rules if f of x is continuous. This is rule 2 right here, checking if they have the same limit from the left and the right. And technically the third rule says if they don't approach from the left and the right the same number, then it wouldn't be continuous because that means that the limit doesn't exist at that value from the left and the right at the same time. So I hope this helps. You don't have to graph when you have a piecewise function. This is just kind of a quick tutorial on how you would approach it. All right, guys, I hope this helps.